Hello again. Today we're going to carry on with the theme fly fishing for pike. In the last video I showed you how I build my leaders for fly fishing for pike, and today I thought I would just take you through what I take with me when I'm fly fishing for pike. I take as little as I possibly can because it makes me more mobile, and you know, when I'm fishing the rivers and even the lakes, I'm never in one place for very long. I'm actively hunting the pike, so I'm moving, I'm looking for them, I'm constantly moving, so I don't want to be lugging loads of gear about. So let's start with the rod. So the rod that I use for fly fishing for pike is this, which is a Vision Grandaddy 10 weight 9 foot fly rod. This is a rod that's been built for the purpose of fly fishing for pike, casting big flies, like this flashy roach pattern. Yes, you can use a 9 weight, and a 9 weight is probably a better all-round rod for pike. The reason I use a 10 weight is because I fish the rivers a lot, and I find in the rivers they can just be a little bit more brutal on the gear. Rivers are constantly changing, so you never know when you're going to hook into a massive log or something. And there's weed, a lot of weed, always in the rivers, and the pike just fight harder in rivers. You've got that flow as well. So 9 foot, 10 weight is the rod for me. Reel, just as long as it's got a good clutch on it, a good drag. Pike don't tend to run that far at all. So just a nice lightweight, large arbor reel will do you. You don't need anything really special. This isn't an expensive reel in the slightest, but it does for me. This is obviously a 10 weight to match the rod, and this is a sink fall line I have on there because I was fishing the River Stour day before yesterday actually. So I like to have that sinking line to get that fly down in the river very quickly. I also, to help me on that, I've got these little, I don't know if you can see that, they're little twist-on tungsten 3.5 gram weights that, you got the eye of the, I don't know if you can see that, you can just pop it, twist it on the eye of the fly, and then the clip on the end of the leader also goes on the eye of the fly, and it just gives me a little bit more weight to make that fly drop, and it gives you a good jiggy action as well. So in the lakes I don't bother using the little clip-on weight, twist-on weight at all, because I don't need it. But in the rivers I need the fly to drop where it lands. If I'm fishing a big slack, especially if it's across the river, excuse me, obviously as soon as that line lands in the river, it's going to be dragging it. So I need this fly to drop, because I want it to drop in those slacks. The net is a net I've actually concocted myself. On my bag here, I have a large carabiner, and this is actually an old trout net frame that I can flip up. With one hand, and it's a bit tatty because I've had this a while now, and it's had a few fish in it, and it's got sticks and everything in it. It's a 36-inch triangular net. Why 36-inch? Well, some of the club waters that I fish have a minimum size net rule for fish like carp and pike, and that is 36-inch triangle and 30-inch round. Why have I mounted a 36-inch landing net inside the frame of an old small trout net? Well, because it will extend, so I've got a nice little extendable handle, and this bit extends too, so it goes twice that length, which on the rivers again sometimes you can't get that close to the water, and it's got that lovely hook that once I've folded the net up, like so, I can just hook it straight on my bag, like that. And it's on my back. To get it off, I just pull it off like that. It's very quick and it's very easy. I can't find anyone that actually makes a net that I deem suitable for pike, that I can deploy fast. I wish I had a rubber mesh. That's my next thing, is try and make one with a rubber mesh, sorry. But that's the net, And all I did was take the original net frame out of these arms. I had to drill out rivets, pull them out, push these ones in, and I've reinforced it with good old electrical tape. And do you know what? It does the job. It does the job really well. So that's the rod and the net. I also take a spare spool for my reel, and this has an intermediate line on it. This intermediate line I mostly use in the still waters, but I take it to the rivers as well, just in case. You never know. Now, what's in my bag? Clipped onto the side of the bag is an unhooking mat. We just unclip that. Whoopsie daisy. This is actually a Savage Gear, not sponsored by Savage Gear, by the way. I just, using their mat. It's a Savage Gear mat, and it's, it's about, it is 115 centimetres long, which is big enough for most pike you're going to catch. It's got a lovely scale on it as well. And again, it just means that I can roll this mat up like that, put the straps over it, and I can strap it onto my rucksack, and I'm not having to carry it. I want my hands free. So all I'm carrying is the rod. Now, what's in my bag? Well, let's start with a large compartment first. So, actually no, we start with the outside. So on the outside, I don't know whether you can see them there, but on the outside are big, long pliers for getting down and really gripping hold of the hooks, just so I can get the hooks out nicely. And that slides nicely into these little strappy things on the side. It never falls out, good as gold. Whoops, fly box, and I've taken it out, but there's normally a bottle of water in there too. It's very important to take a drink. Very important to stay hydrated. So, my fly box, I have all my, what I call my coloured flies. There's like a hot pike. There's, here's a really big pink one. I actually think that's one of Ben Lynch's earrings. Look at it, it's madness. Anyway, other sort of pike patterns. We have a perch pattern there. There's green pattern. If you looked at my Instagram before, or my Facebook page, you'll see these flies as I make them. I normally pop them on. There's a big bream pattern, and there is, whoops a daisy, there is my brown trout pattern. Okay, so that's in one box. Let's just chuck them up there. In the other box I have all my lighter colours. There's a very grey looking, almost greying coloured game changer. Obviously the real flashy roach. There's like a dirty roach, it's still got a wiggle tail on it. Black fly, big water pushing black fly, never leave home without a black fly. And then we have some weedless flies here, tied on those Arex PR378 hooks. So, I take, there's the Peppa Pig. This is one of my latest creations actually, the Peppa Pig. Rainbow trout. I try and have a bit of everything in here, because you know what pike can be like, it's a rainbow trout pattern. It's a small little dirty roach pattern. This one's been hammered, as you can see. It looks absolutely cream crackered. It's because it is, it's caught a lot of fish, this little fly. And then I also have some small zonker style bait fish too, because sometimes you you know, they want something tiny, like a little, you know, and I find these little zonkers ideal for it. So that's my fly box. Let's just sit them up there. Right, that's the large compartment. And now I have another compartment here, and in here I have there's a book there with one of the clubs that I belong to with all their waters, and in here I've just got super glue, I've got spare leaders, I've got everything in here I need to make new leaders. I mean, even though I normally take a gazillion leaders made up, there's about 8 of them there. If you snap up or get, you know, ruin a leader 8 times in a day, you're doing something wrong. So that's all that. Again, so on the bank, I'm not having to construct a leader. Something happens, I can just loop to loop it off, loop to loop it back on, bingo. In this little top compartment, I have a pet cone, very important for brushing out them flies when they get chewed up by pike, very important. I have a couple of lighters for making shrimp tubing, a pair of scissors, I have a hook sharpener, just to, you know, hone those hook points. I have those twist-on weights that I showed you about, twisted on, I have them there. More shrimp tube. So that's what I keep in this little compartment. And like my coarse fishing tackle boxes and my carp fishing tackle boxes, everything has its place, and it always gets put back in that exact place as soon as I finish using it. I can't lose anything that way, theoretically. Now, in the last little compartment, this one, in the front, I have all of my tails in this Ian Gold's rig wallet. I was lucky enough to work with Ian Golds for a while, actually, if you don't know who he is. Ian Golds is probably one of the best British sea fishing match anglers there ever was, and he was a lovely man, he really was, and it was a real pleasure to actually work with him. He's gone now, unfortunately, but he will be remembered. Anyway, in here I have all my tails. So in there I have my pink tails. These are all Pacini's, I've probably pronounced that wrong, but Pacini's dragon tails and wiggle tails. Some I've painted there. Those green and orange ones are really good on the back of a perch fly. And then I've got pink ones. I've got my gold dragon tails, all different sizes, big gold wiggle tails, double dragon tails, smaller wiggle tails, etc, etc. Oh, that's what they are, like Pacerini, or however you pronounce that. And then I have some big copper ones, going down to my flash tails that I make and the wave tails, and then holographic silvers, dragon tails, wiggle tails, double dragon tails, etc, etc. They go in there because this wallet keeps the tails nice and flat and it stops them getting creased and stuff. So that's that. I also always take with me my Leatherman, because again, it's got a very good hook sharpener on it. He says he's got a very good hook sharpener on it. This file's brilliant for sharpening hooks. And it's also got scissors, it's got pliers, it's got wire cutters, blah, blah, blah. You know what a Leatherman is, I don't need to explain it. Always take that. I have my little tripod here with my phone holder on it. So if I'm lucky enough to catch a fish that I want to photograph, I can just sit this on the ground somewhere, put my phone in it. You're actually sat in one now watching this. I love these little tripods, they're so handy. And I can take photographs of the fish and do self-takes. I'm lucky enough, the phone that I use has got a voice-activated camera on it. So I can just hold the fish and say shoot, and it will take a picture. Now, also in here I have my scales. These are some Corum digi scales. I like them because they're small and they're light and they are wicked accurate. I've had these for about a couple of years now, and I do test them periodically. A friend of mine down at Ringwood Tackle has got everything to test the scales properly, and the last time I tested these was probably a month ago, and they were bang on to the ounce, so I'm happy with these. And the trouble is sometimes I do forget to switch it off, but hey ho. They just take a 9-volt battery. Just take a 9-volt battery like that. And I've always got a spare 9-volt battery in my van. So that's the scales, come in a nice little neoprene pouch. So tidy them away. That's the scales. And something else I have in here is a weigh sling. You know, you don't want to be weighing fish in your net because you will break your net. You might get away with it a few times, but trust me, one day, if you keep hoisting up fish on your net, you're going to break your net. So one of these weigh slings is good. It's good enough, and you can make this nice and wet, zero it on the scales, and get a very accurate weight of your pike. Again, I think this is a very important piece of kit. Other than that, what do we have here? Oh, I've got a little lens here. This clips on the back of my phone, and it's a polarizing lens. If I want to take some video of some flies working, or you know, if I see a nice fish in the edge and I want to take a picture of it, polarizing lens for my camera, because when I'm doing this, I don't take my SLR with me because it's heavy. It's as simple as that, and I don't want to ruin it. So I take my phone. The cameras on phones now are really good. So that's that. That's a really handy piece of kit too. Like I said, other than that, a bottle of water is very important. And that is it. That is all I take with me. Any food can also go in there. I must admit, I don't take a lot of food when I'm doing it because I'm normally not parked too far away. So I'll normally walk back to the car to have my lunch, just so I can sit. But again, it depends where I am and what I'm doing. So that is it. That's what I use for my fly fishing for pike. If you have never used one of these rods, try it. I used to use a different rod. I won't name the manufacturer, but I used to use a different rod. Again, a 9'10" weight, and it was a good rod, and I thought it was amazing until I bought this. These aren't cheap. You know, these are a few £100, but oh my God, the difference it made casting those flies was amazing. It's a joy to use. With fly fishing, you are casting an awful lot, and yes, expensive equipment isn't going to catch you the biggest fish just because you're using expensive equipment. But what it is going to do for you, and this is for any fishing rod, you know, whether you're float fishing for roach on a still water or fly fishing for pike on a river, doesn't really matter. Rods are expensive for a reason, and that's because they're quality, and they've had a lot of research built into them, and it's just a joy to use, and it makes it easier to cast, basically. I'm sure if you've ever picked up a cheap fly rod, it's like, they're not nice to cast. Pick up a really good fly rod and it almost casts itself. Anyway, I'm going to stop yakking on now. I hope you enjoyed that video. I will get back to tying videos very soon, bear with me. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing lots more of this stuff in the future. I'm going to keep going with this because I quite enjoy doing it. So please hit that like button, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you have subscribed to the channel, thank you. I really appreciate it. Anyway, thank you.